Hello, my name's Andrew, and these are the pros and the cons of the Vivobarefoot PRIMUS LITE KNIT versus the PRIMUS LITE KNIT Natural. So up front, they both have a wide toe box with a stretchy knit upper that just has a little more give to it versus the original PRIMUS LITE, which is a bit more reinforced and not quite as roomy. But also the original knit had this plastic reinforcement here, and some people complained about it putting pressure on the toe. So Vivo replaced it with a softer material, and I definitely noticed less pressure on my toes. And it's the same thing up top as well. That material is also thinner and softer versus the original knit, which has a harder plastic piece there. But the biggest difference between the two is that the PRIMUS LITE Knit Natural is made out of tencel, which, if you can believe it, is actually produced with wood pulp from trees like eucalyptus. So I found the breathability and temperature regulation to be a lot better with the Knit Natural, whereas the original synthetic, which makes them hot and sweaty above 80 degrees. So the PRIMUS LITE Knit is perfect for all season training because air is able to cycle through the thin knit here, but then along the sides and the heel here, you do get some good water resistance. Both shoes do have a wraparound sole, which helps as well if you're stepping in puddles, although I still would like to see the PRIMUS LITE Knit get a stitched sole like the Vivobarefoot Sensus and some of their other styles. In terms of lockdown, the PRIMUS LITE Knit has always felt really secure. It's very much like wearing a sock, but the knit's dense and supportive enough that it's good for most and cross training, especially sprinting and track workouts where it just feels like it molds to your foot. But if you're doing extreme side-to-side cross training, then the PRIMUS LITE Knit is a little bit better option because it's got more reinforcement on the sides. That said, one thing I didn't like about the original PRIMUS LITE Knit is that the tongue was all one piece, and that was kind of convenient for slipping it on, but the problem was that it tended to crease like this, especially if you tension it up a little bit more. So Vivo separated the tongue for the PRIMUS LITE Knit Natural, and it just works so much better. There's no creasing now. Although sometimes when you're slipping it on, what can happen is that the tongue can just get folded under here, but overall it feels a lot better. And I like that Vivo has reinforced the back here. It just makes it easier to slip the shoe on without wearing out the material on the heel. Still, I do think that both PRIMUS LITE knits are cut a little bit high, so there's just a bit of pressure under your ankle, although the Knit Natural feels softer because you don't have that hard reinforcement here. So for me, they're more comfortable to wear barefoot, and it's always better to have natural non-toxic materials against your skin versus synthetic, which can shed microplastics and other chemicals. Still, the Sensus is my preferred option for wearing completely barefoot because it's all soft suede, and it's also cut a little bit lower than the PRIMUS LITE Knit. In terms of the sole, it's 4mm and super thin with some really excellent flexibility, and this is my all-time favorite sole for running and training because the ground feel is excellent with a little bit of minimal grip on the inside, but then there are more dense panels on the outside and around the heel to help with wear resistance. For an ultra barefoot experience, the 3mm sole of the Sensus provides a little bit more sensitivity, but the 4mm sole of the PRIMUS LITE Knit just provides a little bit more versatility and toughness long term. So yeah, those are the pros and the cons of the Vivobarefoot PRIMUS LITE Knit versus the Knit Natural. But if you'd like to support the channel, you can shop with the referral links down below, browse and filter more products with the shoe finder tool on my website barefootwear.org, or watch a zero drop transition video to learn more about barefooting. Finally, if you have a question about the Vivobarefoot PRIMUS LITE Knit or about barefoot shoes in general, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Peace.